Hey, what's going on, good people? Welcome to Russ Can Fly. How do you rent an airplane? Fantastic question. Let's go. Okay, so I received this question from one of the subscribers, and when I saw this question down in the comments, I thought, oh man, that's an amazing question. And again, like, let me apologize beforehand for the sunglasses. The sun is like out and it's shining and it's beautiful and the winds are calm, and I'm out here at Doylestown Airport, and I thought the best way to show how to rent an aircraft and what it's all about is to actually go through the actual process of renting an aircraft. And so I'm gonna rent Little Sammy in real time, like right now. So it's about, let me see, 1:05 or so. Yeah, it's 3 after 1. So we'll rent in Little Sammy. We'll start at 1:30, but as soon as we get the, as soon as we go on there, they'll probably hand me the keys and stuff. But I thought I would just kind of go through the process and show you how to rent an aircraft. Now, first things first, this assumes that you already have a pilot's license of some variety, that you have come to one of these flight schools, be it Doylestown or Wings or Northeast Philly, and you have already done a checkout. What that's going to entail is they're going to hand you, when you come to the FBO, Leading Edge, or whatever the flight school that you choose, they're going to hand you a packet of information that they're going to want you to fill out. A lot of that is going to be to make sure you understand some of the basics of, flight. Weight and balance questions, what the rotation speed of the airplanes that you want to rent, all of these speeds, associated with that aircraft or class of aircraft. And then somebody's going to check, to make sure that you understand all of those things. The next thing that's going to happen is it's not like you're going to like pass or fail the exam. It's really to understand your knowledge or make sure you understand your knowledge. The CFI that you'll be working with to do the checkout will then look at that packet of information, go over it with you, make sure that if there's questions that you didn't get, in terms of like how many gallons the airplane holds or how many, quarts of oil, that kind of thing. He or she will go over all of those things to make sure that you understand all of the operations of the aircraft, to make sure that you're safe and current and all of that good stuff. He or she even may want to look at your logbook just to see when the last time you flew and all that kind of stuff, and if you need to do a flight review, that kind of thing. Once you go through all of that and you're done, then they'll put you in the airplane. You guys will go fly, do the basic maneuvers, and pretty much my experience has been at all of the flight schools here, they want to see that you're safe. They want to understand that you're following procedures, that you're using your checklists, that you're not, a danger to yourself or others, and you're not going to bend their aircraft. They pretty much, and I think depending on the type of aircraft that you're going to be checking out in, that determines how long the checkout flight time needs to be. Most of the flights that I've been taking and most of the aircraft that I've been flying in, Little Sammy, the Cessna 152, the Cessna 172s, and the Piper Archers and Warriors and things of that nature, it's all been like 2 to 3 hours of checkout time, both ground and flight, just to make sure that I was safe and I knew that I was talking about. And so once all of that is done and you've got that under your belt, then you're ready to start renting aircraft. Now, here's the one thing. Each airport kind of does it a little differently in terms of how you go about reserving an aircraft. I'm going to show you how they do it here in Leading Edge. They use something called My FBO to do their scheduling. It's very easy, very intuitive. Once you get used to it, it's no big deal. When I rent aircraft out of either Wings, which I haven't done in a long time because they don't rent aircraft anymore, or out of Northeast Philly, they use something called Flight Schedule Pro, which is also pretty easy to use and fairly intuitive. So for this video, just know that it's gonna work the same between My FBO and Flight Schedule Pro, and there may be some other software or flight scheduling programs that the school may use that you're renting aircraft from. But don't worry about that. They will show you where it is, how to download it, and all the functionality you need to know in terms of renting the aircraft. But like I said, for this example, we're going to be using My FBO is what they use here at Leading Edge, and it is pretty straightforward. So let's get to that. Okay, so now I'm in My FBO, and it looks like this way on my phone. And yes, I will be basically renting the aircraft from Leading Edge Aviation through this My FBO. And I'm not going to show you my username or password, but suffice it to say, I'll enter that in. Once I log in, this is the first screen I see. So you can see my name here, the day's date, schedule, records, aircraft, all of that kind of stuff. I'm going to go over here to schedule, and then it'll ask me single day, multi-day. So we're just going to do today, single day. And then here's what's really interesting. Then it shows you all of the different resources, all of the PA-28s, SPs, the 172s, and then you also use this to schedule the instructors as well. The thing that I like about this particular setup too is it also shows you what the rates are for each of the aircraft. So yes, the 1982 Cessna 152 94006 Little Sammy 117 an hour wet. Don't come fly it. It's my airplane. But anyway, you see that's the only box that I have checked. I'll check this box just so you can see that as well. I'll come down here and then hit the hit the schedule. Now you can see this is all of the times that have been passed, and these are the times that are available. So we're gonna do 1:30, and you see anything that's checked. So now we have rented the aircraft from 1:30 to 3, and I will hit, and then of course I can do IFR, VFR, local, cross country, put remarks, and then of course I'm going to ask it to confirm to send me to my email. And then if you do cross country, it'll ask you about landings and all that kind of stuff. A lot of times I'll put that in if I'm doing like a long cross country and whatnot, just to make sure that I'm safe there. All right, submit schedule. And so that's really all to it. So now it is 1:12. Let's go in and get the keys.
Hi.
Okay, so you can see now I'm in the FBO. I've made the reservation for Little Sammy. Now all there is to do is to pick up the keys. So you see this smiling young lady right here? That's usually how it goes. There'll usually be somebody at the FBO that you'll have to talk to. Now, if there's any issues with like your currency in the aircraft or anything like that, they will let you know via email before you get to FBO, so you don't have to go through all of that rigmarole. But you'll get the keys and your checkout from, you know, anybody who's in the FBO. Now, here's the deal. Be nice to these people, all right? Be patient. You know, they're here all day. You know, there's a lot of times there's grumpy people who come in and they're getting fuel and all that kind of stuff. And you see this guy right here? That's the line guy. Definitely be nice to him because he's the one who's going to put fuel in your airplane. But anyway, I digress. So, you know, you saw me go on My FBO, click on the time to get the plane. So now I come talk to this young lady and we come and get the keys. And the thing that you have to make sure is once you get the keys, make sure you get the right key, number one. And number two, you will see a checkout. Now, if you're at an airport that uses Flight Schedule Pro, they will have the Hobbs and tack time in the app itself. I actually like the way they do it here at Leading Edge because I'm old school. Give me a piece of paper so I can see the time. But you definitely just have to make sure that before you start that engine, you look at the Hobbs time, look at the tack time, and you put it, you know, make sure it matches what's on the checkout paper. Before you leave the aircraft and all that kind of stuff, of course, it makes sense that you will definitely make sure you write the appropriate stuff down. So we're getting the keys. See, she's got the dispatch. And she's going to hand it to me. And this is exactly what I was saying. So she's giving me the key here. And you can see it's the Cessna 152 Little Sammy 94006. And I say, thank you for the keys.
You're welcome.
And so that's pretty much how it goes. And so now we actually have little Sammy, and we're gonna go and take a quick flight. Now, since this video was really just about renting aircraft, I'm not gonna do much, but just to kind of, you know, complete the whole thing, since I do have the aircraft, I might as well burn some fossils. So let's go on over to the airplane. I'll get these cameras in, and we'll, like, you know, get it up in the air, and we'll just kind of finish out this how to rent an aircraft. Certainly, if you have any questions, feel free to send me another comment, and please do not forget to subscribe to the channel if this is your first time here, because I do a lot of this kind of stuff, because, you know, there may be people who are new or trying to figure this out, or whether or not it's all worth it. All right, so as I walk out to little Sammy after getting the keys, I do take a flight. I'll save the flight for another video, because I do actually fly somewhere, land, and come back. But let's finish out this video so you can see what happens on the back end, and we'll call this first how to rent an airplane part 1 a wrap. But yeah, we'll definitely talk about the flight next week, but definitely wanted to wrap this up since this is getting on a little bit. All right, let's get to the end and finish. So I've shut the airplane down. Now what I got to do is I got to fill out this sheet, and you can see it talks about the Hobbs time and the tack time, right? So when I flew, so when I got the airplane, the Hobbs out was 6125.1. The Hobbs is now 6125.9. So I have to write that in this spot. So it is, it's hard to hard to film and write. So it is 6125.9. Yeah, I know my handwriting's terrible. And then the tack time out was 2645. Tack is up here. It is now 2645.6. 2645.6. All right. So if you look at this and you do the math, 6125.1, 6125.9, I flew for 0.8 0.8 hours, and so less than an hour. So because of that, this flight is going to be probably about literally $117 with, you know, because the hourly rate is $117. So that's pretty much it. Okay, so now I'll just take everything, the key and everything, and take it on back, and it'll be time for the next person to have their flight. And that is pretty much it. That's how it works. And it's really not that big a deal. I will say the most important thing is find a flight school, and do your training, get your license, and just find a flight school that has some legacy aircraft if you can. Because one of the questions was, you know, is it really, really expensive on the back end? I mean, it still costs, but as you can see, I had a nice quick flight for an hour, and that's 117 bucks. Nothing to just, 117 bucks, no big deal. Still real money, but you know, it's not gonna break the bank. So, and you can do it hour at a time. So that's why I'm here at Doylestown, and that's why I mixed the two, because Northeast Philly is a little bit more expensive. So that's it. Okay, so now I'm back in the FBO. We've done the flight, and so basically gonna come and hand the keys. So as you can see, my bad handwriting, sometimes I will tell the person that I'm handing the keys to what the thing is, just in case they can't read it.
It's legible.
It's legible?
Enough.
Okay. So yeah, and so that's it. And like I said, I suggest you just keep a card on file. It just makes life easier for you and for the folks at the FBO. So once you bring the keys back, you hand it, they will do the calculations, and you'll get a bill, you know, you get an invoice, and it's pretty seamless. So that's it. And the only disappointing thing about this day is that I didn't fly more. It is awesome out there. It was so smooth. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you have not subscribed, please do so. Thank you for the support. Love you. Deuces. Russ Can Fly. I'm out. Peace.